There are 3 million public sector workers in South Africa, organized and non-unionized. Government wages take up over 31% of the national fiscus. In recent years, government introduced measures to trim the number of public servants. Cosatu is the largest trade union federation. Its parliamentary spokesperson, Matthew Park, says the lack of sufficient allocation in 2025 has left many workers anxious.
The budget needs to speak to our economic crisis. We've had 1% economic growth for the past 15 years. We have an unemployment rate of 43.1%, entrenched levels of poverty, inequality, of crime and corruption. We have the state, from public service departments to municipalities to state-owned enterprises, really struggling. So we really need to have the budget speak to those issues.
The Federation of Trade Unions, Fedusa, is the country's second biggest union federation, is pushing for previous gains in the public sector wage agreement to be maintained. Fedusa's Rifta Ajam says the country is desperate for critical frontline vacancies to be filled, with the sector decimated by austerity budgets over the years.
We believe that austerity has failed in all results. It has only led to the destruction and the destroying of jobs. It has starved the public services, and the knock-on effect has been the general public out there that have been deprived of vital economic services, and it has only sought to widen inequality. So, in short, we will continue to reject this austerity budget, as we know that further cuts will only just have a ravaging effect on essential services.
Government had in the past 2025 budget set aside 11 billion rand to incentivize workers over 55 years to exit the public sector. The South African Policing Union, SABC Tubahale, says this will worsen the crisis in the public sector and further hamper the delivery of services.
At retirement, we must be clear about it to say, it is a retrenchment. One has to look at it in that manner, that it is a form of retrenchment. And when government wants to really involve something like that, when we are still having challenges that has to do with the numbers of public servants, in SAPS, the desired numbers that when we look versus the population that members are faced with, it is quite a challenge that is there.
The South African Federation of Trade Unions, Saftu's Newton Masuku, says the country's low economic growth prospects are worrying, coupled with an increase in unemployment numbers to 32.9%. It says it's keenly awaiting the outcome of the meeting between President Cyril Ramaphosa and US President Donald Trump, saying a jobs bloodbath from AGOA would be devastating.
South Africa must diversify its trade portfolio. In other words, it must look to other countries. First, you have an African market, which is not, I must admit, that big, but it must also begin to be taken into account, but also looking into other directions like the BRICS countries, so that we are able to diversify our export destination and not rely on the largesse of American capitalism, as it were.
The workers maintain that government has itself to blame for the lack of economic growth. They are calling for members of the public to join them for a demonstration outside Parliament on Budget Day, vowing to reject a revised budget that does not speak to their needs. Katlego Logodi, SABC News in Johannesburg.